why you need to buy 500 SUI and 10,000 XLM now. So I just want to clarify that I'm not currently in SUI or XLM at the moment. I'm looking to get into SUI as I believe it will do super well, and again I'm going to lay that down in a minute. But also Xlm is a coin that I have been in originally back in around 2022, and I sold some of it because I didn't really understand its true use case. But before we jump into the actual core, quick disclaimer here guys, please read this with care. This video is not financial advice. Crypto is volatile and highly risky. No results are guaranteed. This content is for experienced users only, and there's a full legal disclaimer in the description below. So, SUI, at today's price, if you want to get 500, that's going to set you back around 1.8k. SUI at $3.5 and a market cap of 12.5 billion. And let me just jump into why I believe SUI can do super well. So there's quite a lot of things going for SUI, and this is just a fraction of realistically what's going on. So the first thing is that there's an incredibly strong narrative with SUI at the moment as the Solana killer, and that's really interesting. A lot of you might be thinking, well, why does that actually matter? But you've got to think about this, guys. In media, when there is X versus Y, when there's a competition, this creates a lot of attention and this creates a lot of interest because people like to side, people like to be on one side of the fence or the other, and when you've got a lot of people doing this, it creates a really interesting atmosphere and more attention and engagement, which is really positive. Again, we're seeing institutional interest through the likes of VanEck and Grayscale Trust. So these are billion-dollar companies actively trying to use SUI, and they believe that it has a really positive long-term future. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it because these companies are here to make money, right, at the end of the day. So they believe that SUI can do super well. Another interesting point to mention is that it's a newer coin. So it's in its early phases of growth, like any technology or anything. When it's in the earlier phase, it's got more potential for upside, and it's got the ability to rip and just go crazy in a kind of more explosive way than a lot of well-established, mature coins out there. So it's also growing with speed at the moment, got the momentum. It's great for NFTs and games and can do a lot of amazing things. And it's also important to note that's very fast and has the ability to handle different transactions simultaneously, whereas Solana, I'm not saying it's better or worse, is basically handling one transaction at a time and then finishes that and goes on to the next one. SUI are trying to handle a different problem by trying to handle these transactions simultaneously. So just wanted to show you the team, guys, and that these guys are putting everything out there. They're showing their face, they're showing their name, and they're also showing their experience. And I think that's really important because if there's any issues with SUI, then people will be angry and they'll go to these guys. So they've actively put them out there, and they genuinely believe that they can do well. And I also want to talk to you about these guys and the founders. Their actual experience is unbelievable. So you can see head of research development at Novi and also director at Meta. We've also seen chief engineer. We've also seen working at HSBC, some of the banks, JP Morgan, Novi, again, really interesting. This person here worked at Microsoft. So these guys have a pretty stacked background and experience, and that I think is giving a lot of people confidence in why they believe that SUI can do super well and explode. So looking at this, the market cap potential. So SUI at the moment, like I mentioned, is sitting at the $12.5 billion market cap, and if we wanted to compare it to something else like Solana back in the 2021 run, I believe that hit somewhere between the $70 to $72 billion mark. At the moment, it's at 98 billion because it's ripped more, but this is showing you the potential for something like SUI, considering all the things that are going on. So I personally think an $18 to $25 SUI price range is on the cards, and that would mean a 5x from current standing, which would give SUI a 63 billion market cap. Again, if SUI hit the $25 mark, that would be a 7x from current standings and around 87 billion market cap. So this shows its potential to grow and how it can do that pretty explosively. So next one is Xlm, and why I believe 10,000 Xlm can perform super well. There's so many things that come into Xlm and why it can perform well, but essentially it's got its cross-border payments, it's got an actual real world utility, and it's not speculative. It's genuinely connecting banks, payment systems, and individual, so money can move across borders quickly and cheaply. So it's doing this, and like a lot of other altcoins, they are planning on doing stuff, but this is actually doing this. Amazing stuff. It's got the strong narrative and ties to XRP, and I would probably say that's the most robust community in all of crypto. Those guys have had the lawsuit and all the issues that they have, yet XRP is still a top coin. So it's really, really, really good to see, and it's gone exceptionally fast and cheap. And it's also recently had a grayscale ETF, so that's really, really positive to see. Institutional investment and adoption is on the rise, so they believe it will do well, and like I mentioned, they're not here to lose money. So 10,000 XLM at today's price would cost you somewhere in the region of $4,000, and Xlm's market cap, like we spoke about before, it is around the 12.7 billion market cap, and in the last run it achieved just shy of 17 billion before many of the factors above that I've mentioned with all the developments that have gone into place. So if we have a look at Xlm, we can kind of compare them to other strong altcoins like we did with Sui, and with Solana it reached, like I mentioned, 71 billion last run. So ADA as well, a very strong coin, reached 73 billion last run. When we look at Xlm, we can kind of have an understanding and think about, well, realistically 40 to 60 billion market cap is possible for Stellar, considering all the above factors like we mentioned, and that's not unrealistic because of the fact that we've seen Cardano already hit 93 billion and we've seen Solana hit the 71 billion. So what makes you think that the 40 to 60 billion dollar mark is not possible for market cap? So from current standpoint, 40 billion market cap would equal $1.33 XLM, which is currently 3.1x from current standpoint. That would net you 13.3k. Again, 50 billion market cap equals, that would be a $1.57 XLM. It's a 3.9x, and that would give you $15,700. Lastly, with $60 billion market cap, that would equal $1.88 XLM at 4.7x and around 18.8k. So if we had a different conversation a year ago, then it would be a completely different story because XLM hadn't have gone as crazy then. But I still believe that it could go higher, and there's still a lot of money that can be made. So hopefully guys, this has provided you with some value, and thank you very much for watching.